Hello, everyone. Welcome to Space Church. I'll be your pastor today, Priest Space Mike. I am joined by Space Pope Jamie Higginbotham. We also have several ecclesiastical experts with us today. We have Ryan. We've got Dutta. We're even represented by the pagans today with Jared, because we're inclusive here. We're going to be worshiping today at the altar of Apollo, talking about all things space.
Hang on. Jared is the space pagan?
Of course, he's the astrologer.
The space pope?
He's the astrologer. Of course he's the pagan.
Oh, I thought it was for other reasons, but boy, did I just get proven wrong. And even with the other reasons, I was going to be like, Mike, you're actually right, so you're not wrong. So,
oh man,
welcome to Space Church. We're speaking the truth, apparently. Well, in all seriousness, welcome everybody. Come on in, sit on down. Let us know how you're doing. It has been another crazy week, and we've got Jamie back with us today. So really excited to talk about everything that's been happening. And oh boy, what a week it's been. It feels like today might be a little bit of the H show because we got updates on the HLS lander. We've got the HTV-X vehicle that went to the International Space Station, and Honda is officially serious about getting into the space business. Plus, a couple of other things that we'll discuss during this as well. So thanks everybody for being here. Welcome. Come on in. We're here to have a good time and nerd out about everything that's been going on in the space industry.
Pew.
Exactly. Now we need to write some hymns so that we have something to do in the middle.
It is nice to be back, Space Mike, but I will tell you, I am seriously jet lagged. It has been a long time since I have been this jet lag, but I used it to my advantage last night. Vast Aerospace was on was it Bangladesh 4?
Bandwagon 4.
That was it, Bandwagon 4. I was like some Bandwagon 4 rideshare mission, and I forget which payload they were, but I had an opportunity to be there in person and actually watch it like as it was happening, and it was
at the nice
my
HQ.
jet lag worked to my advantage because it was a late night thing, and so I was like, bing, wide awake. But it was really freaking cool. First off, their mission control, if anyone hasn't seen pictures of that, go Google that right now.
It's
probably the best mission control room in aerospace. It's insanely cool. It has got a wall-to-wall curved floor-to-ceiling 8K LED wall single surface that they if someone can find it and pull it up.
I got it. Hold up.
It's insane. Like, my goodness.
Check this out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's a little hard to tell in that photo, but it's actually stadium seating for the launch controllers. And then, there you go. Yeah. And they're all, oh my God, it's hands down the coolest mission control room on the planet.
That is exactly what I imagine mission control in Russia would be like if the contractors hadn't pocketed all the money.
You know what they're going to
be pissed. They're going to be pissed when whatever manufacturer makes those monitors stops making them.
No, do you know who makes those monitors?
Who?
Apple. Those are Apple studio displays from what I could tell.
Really?
Yeah. Oh my God. And because they're studio displays, so when you look, it's so clean in that control. It is, imagine it looks and feels like a sci-fi control room from a movie.
They use a Stream Deck.
It is the cool, and I know it's like, I know they're an aerospace company, but like that's the first thing you notice. And then when you're outside the control room, there are like ramps everywhere and viewing areas everywhere. So, and you stage for viewing all the way outside the control room. So when you walk in, the control room's kind of the centerpiece, and then you can kind of like, you can just see everything, even when you're not participating. It is the coolest facility ever. It is like so cool. So anyhow, started with that.
Where is this in their facility, out of curiosity?
So I didn't get a full tour of their facility, so I couldn't tell you that. But when you kind of
big building or small building?
Big building. Well, I assume it's their big building. I'm pretty sure it's their big building because it had the
go in the driveway and turn left.
Someone what?
Go in the driveway and turn left.
Go in the drive. Well, I went in the driveway and I went straight.
Just right through the lobby into the middle of the building.
Or is it the drive? Well, yeah, they've got multiple ways to get in there, so I'm not sure which driveway. But
Oh
anyhow,
yeah, I got you. Yeah.
it's in the main building where you check in. How about that?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, cool. So very, very cool. Very, very cool control room. Absolutely gorgeous. And what was fun for me, at least, was, this is a demonstrator mission, right? So it's designed to test just a whole bunch of different things. ECLIS, what is it? Environmental control or environmental whatever. Avionics. They've got like a thruster system on there. They've got solar panels on there. A whole bunch of different things that they're testing for their Haven space station, right? So this is just a good like test to make sure that things go. So for a lot of them, it was like the first time they've put anything into space. And so it's been a long time since I've been somewhere where the countdown hits 10 seconds and then the whole crowd starts starting 10, 9. I was like, oh, I remember this. This is awesome. And so then, the vehicle lifts off and everyone's, woo! It's like high energy. And then, you're going through and they're cheering at all the major milestones and then makes it into space. And, you're at, I forget what the T plus time was, but it was over an hour for deploy. And we get up to deploy, and for whatever reason, it's running like 30 seconds behind. So the countdown timers all hit that moment when it was supposed to deploy, and like you could hear pin drop in the room, right? It's just silence, and they're all like waiting for deploy, and then you're just like tick, 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 tick. Just like 30 seconds is a long time because you don't know. And then finally, 30 something seconds later, the payload deployed. Woo! Just incredible energy. It was so cool. It was so cool. It was really fun to watch, and it was really great. Like, what an incredible group of people. What an enthusiastic group of people. It's like, just this small, amazing team working to change the world. So it was really, so thank you, Vast, for letting me participate last night, I guess it was, and watching your demonstration mission. I'm excited to see where they go from there. It was neat. Anyhow, that's my story.
Awesome.
That's my Vast story.
That is so
I always
awesome.
love it when, I love it when aerospace companies are like actually excited about what they're doing,
Yeah. And I'm excited, even though this is just a little demonstration mission, just a small satellite. This is testing a lot of the components that are going to go on their space station, the batteries, the avionics, the solar panels, even, I don't think there's any thrusters on this, but there is a couple of fuel tanks. Part of it is for the environmental control system. So a lot of cool things that, if validated, would allow them to be able to just proceed, and we might actually see this thing launch next year. They're actually big module. This launched last night, but their actual demonstration space station module might launch next year. We might even see the first crewed mission to it next year as well. Of course, there's always delays for stuff, but it's looking pretty good for them right now. I'm really impressed with the progress that they've made.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. And private space station, right? So like democratization of space, and getting. I don't know. I'm a big fan of just privatization of space. Like, when it's in the hands of government. Not that government's bad, but like they serve a very unique purpose where government can work on things that don't make sense to do commercially, right? But why don't rockets make sense commercially? Why don't space stations make sense commercially? We can make all of these things happen. And so the more we can move in the commercial sector, the more competition we can get, the better offerings we can get. Like, yeah, as our say, Vast is moving super fast, and good for them. Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's something that's missing. Well, a couple of things that's missing from a lot of aerospace is that sense of urgency, which is super important, right? Like, if you don't have a sense of urgency, I mean, not to throw shade, but come on, Blue. Although, hang on, they did a static fire, so I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fair. Like, they are moving with more speed now.
But I think a sense of urgency is, I think, a byproduct of a lack of runway.
No, what do you mean by that? I don't get the metaphor.
If your product isn't selling, or you don't have a product to sell yet, you have a sense of urgency to get to a point where you have a product to sell. If you're backed by a gazillionaire, then who cares?
That can be true. I think it depends on the culture that's been instilled in the company more than anything else.
Yeah. Right.
Certainly, you're not wrong with regards to like one company, but the other company doesn't have that problem, and they're backed by a bigger gazillionaire. and like they have a sense of urgency, right? So I really do think it's more culture based than it is. It's a little bit of everything, right? Like there's no one thing. Anyhow, point is they have a sense of urgency, and the CEO comes from live stream, and so he understands, like, just to my heart, understands how important live video is, or just video in general, and like getting people excited about this stuff. And so he puts effort into making sure that this stuff looks good and can inspire and is something that everyone can relate to on a human level. And so many other aerospace companies don't, because they're like, oh, well, you're not my customer. And like, that doesn't matter. This is how you get people excited about what you're doing.
The cameras are for engineering purposes.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, cameras are just for engineering. It's like, no, absolutely not. Well, I mean, yes, they have an engineering purpose too, but they're not just for engineering purposes. So,
Ika says Blue's culture was to do it by the book, and SpaceX is like, there's a book.
Yeah. Let's throw that in the fire.
The problem is,
I don't want to read.
Blue Origin hasn't yet created the book, so they have to wait for the book to be created before they can proceed.
Yeah, I still wonder if they're a sleeping giant. Every day that goes by, I think that less and less.
Ryan,
that was their MO from the very beginning. Is they wouldn't say anything about what they were doing, and then they would come out with a polished, produced video of like, "Hey guys, check out what we did like last month."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, miss those days. We've all kind of held out hope that would still happen for a whole bunch of projects, and who knows, that still might be. But
I just don't feel like they've gotten to the point where they think they've done something epic enough yet to produce another video about whatever the new subject is.
Maybe. I don't know if they can anymore, right? New Glenn's too big.
Why is it? Why?
But by the way, fun factoid, that's not Jared's dog. That's actually Jared. He's barking right now.
Yeah, I'm asking for some bones to be thrown here.
New Glenn is too big in that it's at the Space Coast and it's too large of a rocket. They can't hide it, right? Whereas New Shepard, it was kind of in the middle of Texas, in the middle of nowhere, and they could kind of launch and test it, and like no one would know. Whereas now with New Glenn, they static fire NASA spaceflight's covering it, right, Ryan?
Yes. Matter of fact, how'd it go this week? Did everything seem to go well? I thought that there was a couple of issues, or was everything fine? Wasn't it like a little bit shorter than what happened?
Well, from the outside, at least from what Blue was saying, it seems to have gone perfectly to plan. New Glenn is like, if you took like, say a small Starship but made it take as long as it takes to fuel SLS, that's basically New Glenn. So they start those operations at like 9 o'clock in the morning, and they didn't static fire until 9:59 in the evening, right? So it takes a little while for things to get. It's a sleeping giant. It takes New Glenn a little while to get in the mood, so it takes a while to fill it up with all of its propellants, right? It just takes its time. But then there was
they fuel their rockets like they do rocket development, slow and steady.
Wait, Ryan, I'm not gonna let you get past that. What did you say? To get in the mood? Did you honestly say?
It takes them a little while to get in the mood.
Has to get in the mood for a static fire, got to flex those engines. So it tried earlier in the evening.
A little bit of wine.
We saw a little cloud of steam. It looks like the engines ignited for like a brief few milliseconds and then immediately shut down or something like that. So there was clearly something on their first attempt that didn't go to plan, but then they regrouped, they came back, and then literally like 30 seconds before the range closed, they went in and did a 40 roughly second static fire. They did about 20 seconds on their 7 BE4 engines, and then they actually simulated their landing profile for the booster during the static fire. So they then shut down the the 4 non-gimbaling engines to this 3 in a line in the middle, which have the gimbaling, which is going to be for they don't call it a boost back burn. It's like an exo-atmospheric propulsion braking turnaround burn or something like that.
Got to have their own branding.
Yeah, silly long name, which is essentially their boost back burn to slow down as they go down towards the drone ship, so it doesn't hit the atmosphere at so fast of a velocity. And then they down selected just that single center BE4 engine, which is what they're going to be using for the end of their landing burn as they approach the barge. So at least from what Jeff Bezos and Dave Limp and Blue's official account have said on X, it seems like everything went to plan. And yeah, it turns out they had quite a lot of water in that water tower to run the deluge for like nearly 60 continuous seconds.
Oh, wow. Actually, that's a lot.
Yeah, because they spooled up that deluge system a good 10 seconds or so before they light the engines, and then they're running the engines for another 40 seconds or so, and the deluge doesn't just switch off as soon as the engines are done, right? It continues blowing for a few seconds after that, so it's nearly a full minute of the deluge system being run, which is pretty impressive.
Speaking of Blue needing to have their own branding, I love this comment. It's not a drone ship, it's a supramarine autonomous asset.
Well, hang on. It's also not a drone ship at Company X either. It's an autonomous spaceport drone ship. ASDS, Autonomous Spaceport Drone Ship is the official title, actually. And everyone was like,
it's a smart barge.
It's a sparge. Yeah. I will say, if you go back in a previous show, I think they were supposed to launch in October, right? Like New Glenn was
They were supposed to do a lot of things. I think we can say that.
And I'm pretty sure I said there's no way October. I don't remember if I said yay or nay to this year, although, we are in November already. Starbarge. Oh, God.
No.
Okay. It reads like garbage.
Garbage. Starbarge. Yes. Starbage.
Well, I do have to say they've already lowered the rocket and rolled it back into the hangar, and they have integrated the two Escapade spacecraft into their fairings. So they've integrated the spacecraft. They have the rocket back at the hangar, and their launch. It's November 2nd. Their launch is no earlier than November 9th, which is 7 days away. And I'm just going to say, a week is a long time to roll a rocket out. Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of does sort of start to feel real. And while I don't think they made their original date, like, not that far off. And that's kind of what happens with new rockets, right? Like, you're going to miss your first dates by a lot, maybe by a year or two. And then each launch after that, you're probably going to miss those dates too. But you go from like missing it by a year or two to missing it by a month or two, generally speaking, depending upon how that flight went. And then you start missing it by weeks, and then you start missing it by days. And it just, those schedules compress and compress and compress and compress and compress. And before you know it, you've got a regular cadence, and you've got, you understand the vehicle and understand what it takes to make everything go. To Ryan's point, I am sad a little bit that they did take such an old school approach to kind of all of it, right? Like operations, fueling, all of it. It's kind of just like, why does it take so long to fuel? Like, why it doesn't feel like a modern way to fly a spacecraft or a rocket. But maybe that's just me. I don't know their operations.
Small pipes.
Yeah, but why? And pipes and pumps, right? Like small pipes and pumps, but why?
Yeah.
Like if you want
that's a risk posture. That's a risk posture, though.
Oh my God. So, but here's the deal.
Is it?
And is Blue Origin's goal still cislunar space? Does anyone know? I haven't heard them talk about this for a while.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, they have their whole system that they're planning on doing with their refueling system, and not long ago, I feel like this wasn't too long ago, they showed off their sun shield that is going to help to protect that system to prevent boil off. I was just looking for that.
So Ika has a comment, and this is what's going to make all the difference in the world. Ika says they don't have plans for hourly launches, right?
No.
Hang on, there we go. Right. Yeah. Okay, cool. So they don't have plans for hourly launches. I get that. But do they have, if they're going to do cislunar space, they're going to need to launch on a fairly regular cadence, are they not? Like pretty quickly, daily, daily, whatever.
Yeah. They're going to need to, yeah.
They got to speed this stuff up, right? Like this is going to matter in the long term.
And even this year, they were hoping to have conducted 8 missions. And with this one, it's only going to be 2. Like, I don't think that there's going to be another one that's going to be ready by December, and would love to be wrong about that. That would be awesome if they could pull off 3 this year, but it's looking like only 2. Still, even if they do 3, still short of their goal of doing 8 launches of New Glenn this year. So yeah, they need to do it quite a bit.
Come on now.
I think expected. 8 launches is biting off more than you can chew, like for any aerospace company building a vehicle of New Glenn's size to do that within the first 12 months. I just think, that I think from the get-go, we could have said 8 launches, maybe not, might be a little ways. But if they land the booster, they will have a booster minus some refurbishment, some inspections. If it's the first, obviously it will be the first one that they've got. But if they land it, they will essentially have a booster ready to go to take it back out to the pad. They don't have to wait another few months to manufacture another one, because it's very obvious from the fact that they've statified one GS1, which is their first stage this year, compared to the 2 or 3 GS2 second stages they've statified this year. Their second stage production line is essentially going full beans already, and they're already pumping those things through. The boosters, they take a little whiles longer to manufacture, which is why they want to be able to reuse these boosters. That's why they wanted to land it on the first go, right? So they could then try and increase that cadence without having to build a brand new booster every single time.
Well, hang on. I've got a question. I missed the SF. How long does New Glenn take to fuel? 12 hours?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think it's 5 or 6 days, right? I was kidding. It is.
Again,
it is
depends on the
hours.
mood. Depends on how they feel. Remember?
To your cadence point, some rocket companies don't get to 8 launches at all in 5 years.
Oh, too soon.
Oh,
they were
man.
never, Ryan, none of us ever thought they were making that. No one ever thought they were making 8.
Yeah, I don't think any of us expected that for real. I do have a serious question for all of you, though. Whenever Blue Origin does successfully land a booster, I believe it'll happen eventually. How long do you think it'll actually take for them to turn around and reuse that booster, relaunch that booster for the first time? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't it take SpaceX about a year to refly their first booster? So the question for everybody here and for the chat room, too, how long do you think it's going to actually take for them to turn around their first reflight like that?
They won't.
70,
I don't think they will. No, they won't. My theory is the first one that they get back, they're going to do forensic analysis on to understand what reentry did to it. That forensic analysis is going to make it a non-flyable object. That's my theory. I don't actually know, but I think they're going to have to. They're going to dig into the tank. They're going to see how much of the walls got, battered and did we get micro cracking and things like that. And by the time they do that type of forensics, you can't repair the vehicle. It's no longer a worthy pressure vessel. So I don't think the first one. In my theory is the first one does not refly. Having said that,
wouldn't you be able to do that with
do whatever they want?
Wouldn't you be able to do that with NDE, like X-rays and stuff like that, like inspections?
To a point, it's really hard to NDE like some of the COPV. If they've got, assuming they have COPVs, it's really hard to do NDE and get really a lot of the micro cracks and whatnot. You gotta kind of cut them in half.
COPVs are internal to the vehicle. I don't see how reentry would affect them in any way.
Yeah, but you'll do the same. Generally speaking, I expect them to do the same thing to most parts of the vehicle. I expect they're going to be drilling holes in a good chunk of the vehicle. I don't think they're going to NDE test it. I think they're going to DE test it. Skip the N.
Yeah, only so much can be done.
Hang on. You Dada, you might be right? Like,
yeah, you've got X-ray and ultrasound. There's a lot of ways that there's a lot of things that you can do, and yes, there are limits to it. To Ika's point, like there's a lot of systems that would not be affected by return to Earth. So all you need to do is make sure that the structure is okay, and anything else that is in that chain that would be exposed to damage from heat and whatnot, you can easily replace engines and connectors and wiring harnesses and all that.
So
interesting.
The note is, so for those who don't know, NDE is basically non-destructive testing, right? It's your ability to go in and make sure that whatever part you've got, you test it and make sure that it's ready for flight without destroying it, without having to cut it in half. But notice I said part and not overall entire vehicle. Generally speaking, you NDE test individual components before you integrate them into the final vehicle. Once you've got your COPVs and whatnot, and then you stir weld everything together, it's not like you can just go in and take these things out, generally speaking. Again, I don't know New Glenn, right? So maybe New Glenn, you can totally go in and do this and it's not a problem. But I would be very surprised.
I misspoke. Thank you.
They have to do it ferociously.
Like NDE, we call it NDE. It's
non-destructive engineering, non-destructive testing.
We call it NDE.
I'm seeing,
but You can take a playbook page out of the airline industry where you do NDT on airframes and stuff. You're not destroying an airplane when you do go for a major inspection.
Yeah,
you may disassemble some, but you're not like destroying the airframe to find cracks. And they do find cracks, and they do repair them.
Maybe I think some of their first vehicles that actually do destructive testing, right? Like you look at like Boeing or an Airbus, and they do the wing testing. They go in, they're like, all right, let's break the wing.
Not to a flyable aircraft. There's that mule is made specifically for that.
That's fair. Again, I don't know. I do not know what what they're going to do with New Glenn. My note is I don't think they're going to ever fly it again. I think they're going to do destructive testing on it. I think it's just going to be faster, cheaper, and easier for them to do that. Let's find out, right? Let's see which one's correct.
You might be right about that. However, based on their verbiage, I do kind of agree with this comment that they are planning on having that first stage. So I'm seeing between 4 months, 6 months, a year and a half. I think my favorite comment so far has been 10 business years. So that's great. And also, real quick, I also want to acknowledge real quick Org Terraformers, who just gave us a $20 super chat on YouTube. Thank you very much. Their comment is, airline-like operations is the future. Only SpaceX seems to know that, and other companies will continue to fall behind. At the time, I think you're right, but I think that other companies are starting to catch on and do their best to catch up. Thank you very much for the super chat.
I did see both Quantum Dan and TM Space mention evaluation. So non-destructive evaluation is NDE.
So I do want to say, just because you do destructive testing doesn't mean that you're actually destroying the vehicle as a whole. It just means you can no longer fly it. What I expect them to do is destructive testing. Like they're going to drill into the vehicle, drill into pressure vessels. They're going to get the data that they need, and then they're going to have a beautiful, incredible showcase piece to put at one of their sites. They'll have a giant rocket that they can put in a rocket garden, that they can do whatever they want to do. Right? You're still going to see that vehicle. That they're not going to rip the whole vehicle apart. I think it's going to be a display piece or something, as it should. Like they should be very proud of that vehicle coming back. Or I'm completely and totally full of shit, which is quite possible, and they're just going to fly it again. I don't know their operations. I'm just guessing. Straight to museum, right? Who knows? Well, like I'm making assumptions that may not be true.
I think they're going to stick it in front of an Amazon distribution center and just kind of set it up that way.
That is actually honestly,
it's only
that is
gonna
honestly
be there for the holidays, though. Just the holidays. So any other time they're going to take it back and then fly it. And then once the holidays roll around, they'll give it some time off and
that is a much better outcome than all of SpaceX's destructive testing. They still have a vehicle left.
All right, moving on. We haven't even gotten to the H's yet.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to the H's yet. We got derailed there, guys. Shoot.
Sorry, I derailed us at the very top of the show for 30 minutes, starting with Vast, and then derailed over to Blue.
No,
that's okay. That's okay.
We're here. Whoever gets derailed.
We've got John in our ear, and he reminded us we still have quizzes too.
Yes, we do. Actually, maybe we should do one of those first before we move on to any of the other. So,
depending which order you're going to do it, Mike, it could lead in quite well, considering one of the H's is related to the International Space Station. Today, of course, November 2nd, 2025, is the 25th silver anniversary of continuous human presence in space. The Expedition 1 crew arrived at the International Space Station 25 years ago today on November 2nd, 2000. It's a long time ago, before I was born, in fact. Now everyone feels old. So the quiz questions are related to the International Space Station this week. The first one, how many segments have been launched for the integrated truss structure? This, of course, the truss which runs along the top kind of bit, which the solar panels are attached to. You know what I'm talking about. Was it 12 segments, 11 segments, 10 segments, or 9 segments?
All right, chat room, 10, 9, 8. Oh, okay, my God.
There it is.
And it's super loud, too.
What? Several centuries later.
Oh, my goodness. Sorry
what are we doing,
that, everybody?
Oh, my goodness.
I promise we know how to do production. I promise we do.
That only took one Blue Origin business day.
There we go. The music has concluded. I will go from the top to the bottom on my list, which starts with Jared. How many do you think it was, Jared?
See, the problem is I don't know what you're counting as the integrated trust structure.
Yeah, this is kind of a trick question here.
It's
We
not
have
a
a
trick
mutual-
question. There is an integrated, like the entire trust structure system is literally under an acronym, Integrated Trust Structure, the ITS. Like it's a designated thing by NASA. It's very confined to its box.
So I have we all have a mutual friend here tomorrow, and Liam, from ISS Above, who has actually, I know this number because he's told me this in conversation, because that's just the kind of conversation you have with Liam, may I ask a question of clarification, or is that not going to be a thing?
I mean, sure. I don't know how long we want to drag this out for, but go for it.
Okay, so for the integrated trust structure, are you counting the Z1 trust as a part of that, or is
And that's
it
why
not
this is a
part
trick
of that?
question.
I am counting it because when it was launched, it was considered a part of the integrated trust structure.
Okay, I'm going to go with 12 then.
Okay. Mike, what are you going to say?
I see 3 potential answers here. And based on the wording of your question, specifically that you said launched for the integrated trust structure, I believe that the answer is between 10 and 12, but since you put launched into your question, I'm going to say 10.
Okay. And Dutta, what do you think?
I'm going to say 10 as well.
Okay. And Jamie?
Based on nothing but a hunch.
I honestly thought it was 11, so I'm going to go with 11. But based on what Jared said and what Ryan said, I'm pretty sure.
Well,
I'm
you've
wrong.
gone with 11. And the chat room went with 9. So I can once again confirm that there has been 1 point scored, which goes to Jared. Well done, Jared. It is
Son
indeed
of a-
12 segments for the integrated trust
BS.
structure.
B.
Boo. Boo.
Although this is not.
It is, because NASA themselves say there's only 11 pieces because we don't count the Z's trusts. And
But he
there's
said, no,
people
hang
that
on,
count
Ryan.
the...
Ryan said he was counting the Z. So that, but yeah, I
But
had
is he-
remembered the number as 11, but I didn't know if they were counting that. So I was like, I don't know. I think it's 11.
But are you counting P6 twice because it was relocated?
No, because it wasn't launched
He
twice.
said launched.
Yes.
And
And
So-
IS.
NASA
So-
says that there are 11 based on Wikipedia's page. And
I say,
NASA says
you're
11.
saying, and one of them was only launched once, but you used twice, which is
I don't
10.
count
the
that.
question clearly said launch.
And how many
Right.
launches were there to do all of the trust pieces?
I don't know.
10. That's
So,
why I said 10.
Can I?
I love how we're all upset about this one.
I
with
think.
how-
Wait. I think Ryan gets a point taken away from Infinity again for this question.
I disagree. I disagree. Because even though, say, like the P3/4 trust, that's 2 different bits. They were just put together. You know, they're two
But you
different.
said
They're 2 different
launches.
segments.
You said
And I said-
launches.
I
No,
said,
Jared,
I
what's your
said,
point?
no. I didn't say launches. I said how many segments have been launched. And therefore, if two segments are launched on one launch, that's 2 segments which have been launched despite it being one launch.
My dog
means
is
it's
pissed
12.
about this. Missy is
Okay.
upset over this question.
Jared, you got the point. Why are you upset? You got the point.
Listen. In the spirit of competition and the fact that a word I would use to describe this question is basically horseshit. I actually would like to relinquish this point. I don't feel it's actually fair to have this point.
I
Because
think
I don't
as
feel
the
like
ultimate
this was
judge-
a correct question.
I accept you relinquishing your point, and that relinquishment goes a point against Ryan, and so it's another negative point against Ryan. I think those are in the official rule book. I actually love this idea. for the hosts, for anyone who thinks that the question is stupid and doesn't deserve a correct, like there is no correct answer, you can relinquish your point and have it go against Ryan. This is a new rule in the rule book, and I love every minute of it.
Well, I will take that point away then, and that means nobody scored anything.
It means you scored a negative point, Ryan.
No, it didn't feel, it does not feel like it's a fair question. So that's why I just was like, no, I don't.
Where's the buzzer sound?
And see, my whole thing is like the the P3, P4, and S3, S4, like they're counted as two separate, but it's the same like piece. And if we're going into how many pieces go into each truss, then each one gets broken up into like 4 pieces. So like it's
-1, Ryan.
Should we just move on to the HTV-X?
Let's just move on.
I enjoy really hammering in how badly you failed at this question.
I didn't fail at this question at all. In fact, my question was so good that Jared deemed the question redundant and then relinquished his point.
No, I didn't deem it redundant. I deemed it horseshit.
Well, that's what I heard.
There's a difference. There's a very big difference. I don't know if no.
Looks like he's about to slam his decompression chamber door.
How many fasteners were used to install the...
Well, since Ryan has given us a beautiful segue here, talking about the International Space Station, did you guys see that the HTV-X vehicle, Japan's newest cargo vehicle, is able to dock to that? Hang on, I've got some stuff that I want to pull up. However, it's not.
A beautiful vehicle. I didn't realize how pretty it was going to be. It's
very beautiful vehicle.
I missed
very
this
beautiful
entirely.
vehicle. Yeah, this is their replacement for the original HTV. Much more simplified design, and I think a lot more brilliant design, and has so many different uses. This is footage from Sen that our friend Liam Kennedy, who was able to bring this, and I think that they have really, really done something cool with this. This is the video of when the robotic arm grabbed it. It didn't dock to the space station. It technically birthed to the space station. But the top module of this is the pressurized segment that you can see near the top there. Then all of the fuel tanks and all of the thrusters are in the middle service module. And then they have this external rack on the end of it where they can put external payloads that can be grabbed later by the robotic arm and placed wherever it needs to go, whether it's going to the Japanese Kibo module or somewhere on the integrated truss structure on the International Space Station where a whole bunch of hosts of experiments are mounted. So I think that they really are onto something with this, and glad that this has come online. And that the coolest thing to me about this is they've built it in such a way that this could also be used for cislunar flights and could service the Gateway Space Station or some other lunar space station if we come up with a better plan between now and then. So yeah, congratulations to JAXA. Congratulations to Japan. And to confirm, POTUS had nothing to do with it. Sean Duffy was giving credit to POTUS for his leadership, and it was just like, oh my God. We talked about that. He even got community noted. No, this is a Japanese vehicle, and POTUS had nothing to do with it. But in any case, really awesome to see, and glad that this is flying and finally docked at the International Space Station, and excited for more things to come. I have a suspicion.
Indeed pretty. This is one of Sen's cameras?
No, this one isn't. Let me go back to the Sen camera of...
That was also a gorgeous shot. The top, this one?
Yeah, gorgeous
that's
shot
incredible.
right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous shot. There was a couple of them. So go on to Sen's Twitter page, and you can find, their X page, and you can find a couple of different shots that they've taken of this. They also have been tracking Hurricane Melissa, so some interesting footage they've been able to collect from the space station of that as well. So yeah, awesome job. Really glad to see this flying. And interestingly, I think that this might be used on some of the private space stations. Although not JAXA per se, Mitsubishi Heavy Industries does have a large stake in Starlab, which would be using both common berthing types of docking and regular autonomous docking ports. So there is a chance that we could see this vehicle be used for future private space stations, potentially even more if other deals are made. So yeah, happy to see this come online.
Yeah, that's really sweet. And it's like best part, no part, right? So
Right.
like simplifying the vehicle, 100%. Absolutely. I want everyone to do that, right?
All the plumbing and valves, like they had so much plumbing and valves on their original one that went all over. And this one, it's so much simpler. All the thrusters, everything is right there. So like, even if there's a problem during processing or something, they can just detach that service module and swap in a whole different one while they figure out the plans and repairs for it. So yeah, I think it's brilliant. They really have something going on with this one.
It's like data engineering. Back when he was making some of his older designs, he showed me, he's like, everyone does it this way. And I'm like, that's dumb. Here, module. I was like, oh, no. Yeah, like that. Exactly.
Plug and play.
Plug and play.
It's the way to do it. It's the way to do it. And since we're on Japan, let's actually talk about Honda next, actually. You guys may have seen a while back that Honda had their small subscale rocket that they were doing propulsive landing tests with. And this week, they, first, here's a replay of that flight. And they basically announced that they are seriously getting into the space industry. And there already was an announcement that they are cooperating with the Artemis program, specifically with Astrobotic, to deliver essentially batteries to the surface of the moon that could be a regenerative system so that we don't waste any electricity that we may generate via solar power or nuclear power. And so that's great. But with what they've announced this week is that they are going to make a larger version of this little subscale demonstrator rocket and seriously get into the space business. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited about the prospects of that. Yes, they might be a little late to the game, but it's Honda. I think that they have a serious shot, especially because this little project that we're seeing on screen was literally a teeny tiny side project with maybe a couple $1 million thrown at it, but also helping for the development of this, where this test was done, this Taiki town that they're trying to build up as like a space center, business center, so to speak, where all sorts of manufacturing could be done. So there is some interesting things going on. And although a little late, I think that Honda could be a serious contender into the launch industry and having reusable rockets.
I have questions. Okay, so my first question was going to be, how large was their subscale vehicle? And I think I was able to just tell with that last footage because there were humans standing next to it. So it's not large, not small, right? It's pretty tiny, but like
I want to say
decent
it was
enough size for an actual for a model. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So then, how big are they going to make the real vehicle?
Not sure yet. And I think that they're still working on designs and figuring out what the business case would need. I would assume that they would probably be trying to aim for the small to medium launcher first. Could be wrong about that, but that's my assumption for where they would start.
Wait,
So
go
within,
back.
like-
They were setting up camp at the Apollo landing site.
Yeah, did you just notice that?
I did.
Yeah.
That wasn't them using Apollo landers. That was them setting up at the Apollo landing site, which wouldn't have the actual module on top. It would only have the service module there. So not quite an exact representation, but who knows?
Actually, that's the Artemis 3 landing site with the new lunar lander.
Oh, because we reopened the contract, and we still haven't heard Lockheed's proposal to just grab one from one of the museums and refurbish it. That's right, I forgot.
Oh, I thought that was just Northrop Grumman going into their archives and just copy pasting.
Oh, it might be. You sure it's not L3 Harris? I thought it was L3 Harris Rocketdyne.
My bad.
We're just kidding. We don't have
point. Those sites on the moon. I'm not sure how I feel about anyone approaching those sites on the moon.
Right? I mean, we've had this conversation before. I think we're all in agreement that those need to be like a keep out zone for historical purposes, like a museum.
Yeah,
I mean, what's one of
the fact that you bring that up as a concern tells me exactly how you feel about it.
Wait, what? Yeah, I don't.
If you didn't care, you wouldn't say a thing.
Yeah, very true, very true. But I do care, and I'm not sure that we should have.
I do too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. I feel like there should be a international call it 100-meter boundary from the furthest out that anyone ever went at those landing sites or something like that. So that, I mean, it was the first time humanity went to the moon. There's plenty of moon. We don't need to go back to those locations like that.
I believe
I wouldn't say all of them,
There aren't that many.
but I wouldn't say all of them.
Okay.
Jared, I want to hear
actually. I was going to say two things. One, I believe the Google Lunar X Prize actually had a like bonus stipulation for imaging a Apollo landing site in it and approaching it within a certain distance, if I'm recalling correctly.
I believe that's
Two,
true.
I would also love to get imagery of those landers and things because I want to see what's happened on the surface of the moon to these materials over the past 5 decades. So that's going to tell you a lot about that environment and what to build for. So I actually think it would be very beneficial to actually get a close-up look. Now, I don't think you need to like drive right up the stuff with it. I think as long as you've got a good lens to take images from very far away, you should be able to pull it off. But
Avery
I think
says,
we
how
should
about
do
20
what Jamie
kilometers?
was proposing with New Glenn, and that is to drive up to the descent stage there with a lunar chainsaw and chop it up and do some destructive testing to see really how those materials have evolved over the last 50 years.
And I did suggest a lunar chainsaw as well. That was in my suggestion list. Lunar
Electric, of
chainsaw
course.
is also my new handle on X.
Electric, of
Anyhow,
course.
really cool with I hope Honda doesn't actually go to those sites and like disturb them, but B, because it's just animations, whatever, but like it was like but B, it is kind of exciting, and I'm curious to see what size vehicle they end up making. Like, is it going to be electron sized, neutron sized?
Well, I mean, based on those modules, I think they would have to at least double the size. The modules that they showed in their renderings, I think they would at least have to double the size of the diameter of the vehicle. I don't know what those elements weigh, so their payload capacity may have something to do with it, and the mass is cubed, or the volume is cubed, but the diameter is only squared. So they may have to get more than double in order to be able to get that size of module up there. I mean, that's a pretty decent size and a pretty decent.
Will be.
What are you laughing at, Jared?
I'm laughing at Aerospace's comment in the chat room.
Can we disassemble the Apollo landing sites and transport them to the Houston Museum?
Oh my God.
Don't tell Ted Cruz. You'll give him ideas. Oh, man.
They had their chance. They blew their chance. That's what happens. You don't get a second chance, guys.
Yeah.
You do when you're in power.
Yeah, well...
I don't know about you guys, but yeah, I did read this blog post by Casey Hanmer, really railing in on Orion and SLS. A lot of things that we've been talking about for years now, and even a handful of new things that I didn't know about. For example, didn't realize that this entire time on Orion, they did some tomfoolery and said, oh, hey, by the way, you want a docking system for Orion, right? In 2023. And needed an extra $2.3 billion for a docking system that is for a vehicle that has been in development since at least 2006. Meanwhile, the human landing system that has been subcontracted out, the primary contractor has gotten $2.5 billion, something like that. So for about the cost of the entire moon lander is what Lockheed needs to do the docking ports on Orion that they conveniently forgot over the past 20.
Oh, you mean you want people to get in and out of it?
Yeah,
well, that's going to cost you extra.
Yeah, apparently. So if you have a thick skin and a good constitution and a high tolerance for patience, go ahead and read this blog post and try not to get angry or pop a vein. I did my best.
Yeah.
I had to go through it in a couple of sessions.
It's starting to sound like Spirit Airlines here.
However, we have trashed enough on SLS and Orion. We don't need to go into that any further today. Let's get on to the last of the H's of the human landing system and the updates that we were finally given this week that people have been begging for.
I just realized Jared is implying that there's no place for the astronauts to stow their luggage on Orion and they're going to get charged a baggage fee.
Yeah. Wait a second. You're the commander and you want to sit in the commander's seat? That's going to be an extra $50 million for that.
Has extra leg room for the commander's seat, so it's an upcharge.
And then, like, of course, if it's a Spirit flight, there's a fist fight going to break out during it at some point. So that's just a tradition on the Spirit
Oh my
airline.
God.
So,
Oh my goodness.
yeah.
My
Yeah.
God. All right. I'm sorry. So HLS.
Yeah, HLS. So we finally got some more information about HLS. We got, hang on, I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like I don't have control of being able to play media anymore. John, if you could go into the media tab and play the new HLS render video for me, please. We finally got just a brief video render, and then if John can't pull that up, I'll just go ahead and move to some pictures that we got. Finally got some pictures of the interior. Here we go. Here's that quick render that they published of HLS, the human landing system. And apparently there is some simplified things that they are doing in order to accelerate the timeline, since they have been accused of being late on this. That's a discussion in and of itself. There is a whole bunch of well, never mind. I am going to say it. First of all, they couldn't work on this for almost a year. Nobody could, due to lawsuits from Blue Origin. Go ahead and take the video down. You can just put it back to preview. There we go. So if you want to blame anybody, you can blame Lawfare for no one being able to work on this system for a year. So there's that. But we finally were able to get some more pictures of what the interior is going to look like. And this certainly looks like the ideal male apartment that just has one or two pieces of furniture, and I love it. But in all seriousness, they've actually been doing quite a lot of tests on different subsystems and components, a lot more than people were aware of. They've been doing lots of simulations with the actual control panels that are going to be working on it. They have done tests on the navigation systems that are going to be used for the landing on the moon, which I believe is going to be pretty much all autonomous. So hopefully everything gets done well for that. But I believe that there is a information sharing thing going on with NASA and all the different CLIPS landers and everyone else who's trying to do this. Everyone wants the landings to succeed. Also mentioned the test that they did a while ago, testing out the elevator system that is going to bring astronauts to the surface once they land. Also talked a little bit more about their airlock system and just how much habitable room is available in this thing. I mean, just for comparison's sake, from this little graphic, we can see that the interior volume of the old Apollo landers was about 4.5 meters cubed, and with Starship, even though the majority of it is going to be fuel tanks, the amount of interior space they have is 613 meters cubed. So that is crazy. What is that, like 3 times the amount of the interior volume of the International Space Station? So there is a lot of room for activities on these things. And pretty much what SpaceX is saying is that their biggest hurdle right now is getting done the propellant transfer tests and doing the first initial test with the tankers and depot before actually launching this, although there is supposed to be an unmanned test of the human landing system before Artemis 3. So they're going to need to push things at a pretty quick pace. Basically, we're going to need to see this test have to happen by the end of next year, at least in my mind, in order to accomplish the goal by 2028, 2029 with Artemis 3. If all of the rest of the systems for it are ready. And no guarantees that the rest of the systems will be ready when it comes to SLS, Orion, the suits, and a handful of other systems. We will be finding out soon enough whether or not the new and improved redesigned environmental control system for Orion will even work on Artemis 2. I'm sure it will. I'm very hopeful it will, but there are a handful of issues with that and other things aside from the human lander that is holding back Artemis 3. So the people demanded an update and they got it. So a lot more information that is a welcome addition to our expectations for what's to come in the near future. Let's see. Well, Ryan, what did you think about this? What was most? Did anything new pop out to you with this update, or any information that you weren't aware of before?
Could you go back a few slides? Because the thing that hit out to me most was the top-down shot of the interior volume.
Yeah,
Because,
absolutely.
first of all, it's just so capacious. It is huge. Second of all, what have the mission specialists done wrong to be shunned from society? They're in their own seats. They're like divided, like, you can't look at the screens. You can't touch any buttons. You
Don't
must sit in this seat by
anything.
yourself. Don't say anything. Just look out the window and shut up. That's what the mission specialists have been told. They're in like lawn fold-out chairs just by themselves. They can't do anything. And you've got the commander and the pilot there just like, look at us. We're flying Starship HLS, even though it's automated. You've got these two poor guys just sat there. They can't do anything. They're just like twiddling their thumb. Like, what are they doing? They've been shunned from society.
If they were real, I mean, you're not wrong, but I feel like a step further of punishment would be the seats facing the other way, so they can't even look out the window.
They've got to go sit in the kitchen area.
Although I do love that.
At least they get windows.
Yeah, at least they get
That's true.
windows. Like mission specialists on the shuttle. Oh man,
No,
praying to
you're
Space
sitting
Church for a good
downstairs.
landing. That's right, and praying for a good landing. We all are, absolutely. Oh man, I do love though. This is the first time that I have seen any wooden panels, or probably fake wooden panels, probably some sort of linoleum or something like that. But I like that aesthetic. I really like that, and it reminds me a lot of the interior of Vast Space Station with their wooden-looking panels all over the place. So I like that, and I think that that's a nice little touch. And I'm willing to bet you that there's going to be quite a few more upgrades. Something I found interesting is, like, even while you're sitting there in the kitchen, you do have these kind of displays in that extra screen that is going around the wall there. So
It's like a little cutout.
Yeah. So I wonder what information is going to be displayed there. And I don't know. I really like that. I was hopeful to see more, even more interior shots. And we've already kind of seen the mock-up of what the little cabin spaces are going to be, little personal sleeping pods for each of the members. But yeah, tons of room on this. Yeah, it reminds me of the Rocinante from, oh my gosh, I am blanking the name of that show right now. The Expanse. The Expanse. Yeah, reminds me a bit of that, and going up and down ladders to reach the flight decks and different areas of the ship. For some reason, I imagine people actually living in space having no way to see from one side of the compartment to the other, because it would be more like living in a heap of bags. Kind of like on the International Space Station where there's stuff everywhere.
In Soviet Russia, storage space occupy you.
Oh, man. Yeah, how do they get around in 0G? There was another picture that I didn't include in this of a dude that was floating up near the top of the nose cone.
Just swim. It's a fluid. Just swim. It's not that hard. Just swim
I see
around
pranks
in the oxygen.
happening where somebody like pulls somebody else's sleeping bag and like suspends them in the middle and lets them go. Wake up and you can't get out of it.
Which is why they need to have like little air guns, like the Gemini guys did, or like have a itty bitty, teeny tiny type of flight backpack that just is compressed air. It's not any actual fuel that's being expended, but that would be fun to fly around on one of those.
Carry a big balloon that you can blow up and aim a nozzle somewhere.
Like they need zip lines. Yeah, that'd be funny too. But yeah, finally cool. It's not a ton, but finally cool to see some updates on the human landing system. So excited for the future and very hopeful that those tanker tests will happen before the end of next year. They're pushing right ahead. I'm really confident that in spring we'll see the next flight. Hopefully there aren't a bunch of hiccups and things along the way that will delay them from being able to attempt those cryogenic tanking tests and propellant transfer tests in orbits. Here's hoping that all goes well with that.
Yeah, we're getting really close to 2026 now, and 2026 is going to be like a bonkers year for spaceflight. Like, we've got Artemis 2, we've got tanking tests with Starship. We might see a Starship HLS landing coming up. I think there's even a higher chance of seeing that Blue Moon Mark 1 landing for the first time from Blue Origin. We may see that the orbital transfer vehicle from Blue Origin, maybe flight hardware for that potentially. We're going to see so many vehicles becoming partially reusable or fully reusable. Maybe Stoker's going to be doing something as well. Like 2026 is just going to be, if you thought that like Artemis 1 was crazy, like this is going to be an entirely different level, because everything is just going to keep building up until we get to Artemis 3, and then it's just going to go crazy. Like the ramp up is going to be spectacular. It's going to be.
Would you say it's going to be lit?
No,
Heck yeah,
I do
fam.
not entertain that kind of lingo that some of the kids say these days.
Oh, bless you.
Kids?
Bless you.
Yes, because you're so old.
Oh my goodness. Let's see. Awesome. Thank you very much. Dave Avery gifting 5 memberships again to folks out there. Thank you very much, Dave. And for all of you, if you're in the chat room live who just received those, be sure to say thank you. Be sure to say thank you to Dave. We very much appreciate you for that, which tells me that it's time to move on. So we have another question, another trivia question for folks. Jamie's still around?
Yep.
Yes. We got Jamie back. So yeah,
Mike,
let's move on to our last one.
I want to interrupt you quickly, because I'm wondering if I can go mad with power and take control. I'm wondering if we could just take a look at the scoreboard quickly, because as we have been talking about, we are now in November. Apparently the scoreboard has not been uploaded yet, so we can't take a look at the scoreboard yet. But I can tell you, just for the matter of interest, we are on the 2nd of November, and there are a maximum of 8 weekends left in 2025, which means there's a maximum of 8 shows remaining to score points. And I would just like to note that we have Jared currently in the lead with 38 points, as a few points behind is Chat with 33, and then a couple further points behind is Mike with 31. So it's getting quite tight up there. But then we have Dutta. I'm not shaming you. I'm just saying this as a fact. We have Dutta with 24 points, and then Jamie with 14.5, which is like, dearie me. Anyways, I thought maybe some of these final shows of the year, in order to kind of heat things up a bit, I might introduce some bonus point rounds so we can try and definitely not manufacture a closer end at the year. Depending.
Interesting.
Okay, here is the current scoreboard. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to encourage people to do some, a little bit more competition. So I thought, depending how we will answer the next question, there might be bonus points on offer. So in that roundabout way, I'm just saying there might be bonus points on offer if anyone gets the next question correct.
All right.
Okay.
And as a reminder, we can also choose to take those bonus points once they're gifted to us as a way to take points away from you, which makes it even more fun. See, you're playing now too, Ryan. See, that's what happened.
Infinity minus a number is still infinity. So I don't know what the goal is here,
We're all
apart
gonna
from
be
diminishing
zeroed.
your own points tally.
Next season, you don't get
Ryan.
infinity. I'm just saying.
Ryan, I hate to pick on you today, Ryan, but infinity minus a number is still like having somebody throw a pie and it hits you. Like, yeah, it's already happened, but you still got pie on you and you're walking around with it on you for the rest of the year.
All right. Next question, and I'm curious to see what Ryan does for bonus points.
Okay, so this question is, how many robotic arms does the ISS have? And the specific definition of robotic arm we are going with is an external servicing system. Okay, this is a system on the outside of the International Space Station designed to help service the International Space Station or components attached to the International Space Station. Okay, hopefully that definition is clear enough to prevent the confusion we had with the trust structure.
Thank you for the clarification.
Is this currently, or that they have had over time?
Right now. So is it 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Okay.
Play the music. There we go. Oh, it was on time. It was on time. Brilliant. A key word in that definition, by the way, is system. I will leave it at that.
Ooh. Oh, no. Because I'm going to go with my original thought, but I might be wrong now.
Let's start with resident ISS expert on the trust, Jared.
Thank you, Ryan. I am going to go ahead and go. I'm going to go ahead and go with 4. I'm just going to swing that one out there. I
Okay.
think it's like I'm not 100% certain on this, but because we're specifying external servicing systems, I'm going to go with 4.
I will say, not to go out of order, Jared, I was with you on that one. I think it's 4 too, but then he threw me a curveball, and now I'm like, oh, I'm not 100% sure it's 4. Oh, I think it's
But
4
what do you think it is, Jamie? You think it's 4? Okay.
I thought it was 4, but then you said something. What did you say? Componentized system, and I'm like, oh, or whatever it was, and I was like, oh man, that I'm not sure all of them qualify, but I think it's 4.
Okay.
I think it's 4
Mike?
as well, and I'm pretty
Okay.
sure about that.
Dutta?
I'm gonna go with 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm wondering if Data's right.
And the chat room has gone with 2. And the really interesting thing is, Dutta got it correct. Well done, Dutta.
Dang it.
And
BS.
I would explain it, but Dutta, for your ability to net bonus points, you can get up to 3 bonus points if you can name the exact name for each of these 3 systems.
I'm gonna cheat now.
Well, one of them is the Canada arm, robotic arm, or whatever the hell they call it, and the rest I'm not gonna get.
Well, I'm looking for a specific name, so
yeah,
I know
not sure
2 of
whether-
them.
Well, I didn't
So-
ask you, Jared, because you didn't get it right.
I know.
I'm asking Dutta.
I
so-
know, but I'm just saying, I know 2 of
Hans
them.
and Franz.
Hans and Franz.
Okay, well, unfortunately, it doesn't look like anyone's going to be scoring any bonus points today, but 1 point is going to be handed out, and that 1 point does go to Dutta. So, well done, Dutta. You've got of this entire show, we've handed out 1 point to Dutta. Well done.
So
Yay,
I
thank you.
would like to get your definition of which 3. Which are the 3, and why not 4?
Yeah. So I went with 3 for the Canadarm 2, for the remote manipulator system on Jax's Kibo, and
Gem.
the European robotic arm, which is on the Nauka module. And the reason I went with 3 and not 4 is because Canadarm 2 is the kind of it's the
system, and there's two
there's
elements.
additional things you can put
And there's
onto the
Dexter.
Canadarm. So you can put Dexter on the Canadarm, you can put the OBSS onto the Canadarm, and you can put other things onto the Canadarm. So that is how I defined that. That's why I said it was a system. Like technically, Dexter is part of the mobile servicing system that Canadarm is a part of as well. It's like one thing.
And that's where I was unsure, and so I wasn't sure because you can kind of run it, like it doesn't.
Yeah.
I guess it kind of does have to be.
So
What about
because-
Gitai? Does that not count because it's just a demonstrator for just that company and doesn't have plans for future use?
And also,
See,
technically, Dexter has 2 arms, so then it would be 5.
I went with 4 because I thought you were going to. I was looking at the Canada arm 2, the European arm, Japanese arm, and the mobile base system because you can technically. No, this is the mobile base system. Typically, the Canada arm 2 is attached to it and it moves along the truss so that it can go there.
That
but
thing.
you can also just attach stuff to it and then move it along the truss as well. So that's why I thought external system and it can operate all by itself.
Huh.
That's why I went with that. Was at least my reasoning behind going with 4 was because of that.
So wait,
So
the question goes to Dutta. Dutta, do you want to relinquish your point and take another point away from Ryan? Or do you want to keep your point? He's thinking.
Dutta is thinking.
Does he want to win or does he want to
Yeah,
spite
exactly.
Ryan?
It's a tough question, right? This makes the game way more interesting.
Yeah, both are kind of equally satisfying, aren't
Punish
they?
Ryan for his terrible question, or try to actually win.
I don't have any aspersions that I'm actually going to win. So yeah, let's punish Ryan.
Yes.
Oh man, poor Ryan. We love you. Please don't stop making trivia questions
Yes.
for us.
I'm so sorry I started this, Ryan. I had no idea this was going to become a thing. I'm so sorry about that.
Saboteurs, all of us.
Really.
Yes. You have to change the score again. It's -2 points for Ryan.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. No one can hear John, but like he's asking if he has to change the score again. Yes, you have to change the score again.
John is upset and
He's throwing.
he's not having the.
Yeah,
Oh my
he's throwing
goodness.
things. He's very sad. Next year,
I
I
mean,
feel
you-
like what we need to do next season is have some sort of like pool of points and then like Ryan starts with the whole pool, and then if you win, or I don't know, he can't start with the pool. I don't know.
He should start with a finite number though, like maybe 100 or something like that.
Yeah, or like
so there's a chance.
what everyone else has to get to try to beat Ryan, sort of thing. Like, but then every time he does one of these, we can bring him down a notch.
However, I love your idea of bonus questions and
a
bonus points. So yes, I love that. Let's keep doing that.
Yeah, that's a really great. That's a keeper. Although, can we make it so that people can steal the bonus points?
Well, the definition of having to get the bonus points is to get the answer correct in the first place. So if you get the answer wrong,
because you got like
just go and
Family
take-
Feud where you can steal.
So if 2 or 3 people get the answer correct, then all 3 of those people might have the opportunity to get bonus points. But if only one person gets the answer correct to begin with, only they have the opportunity to get bonus points. Do I understand that right? Okay.
I feel like
that.
or hear me out.
Right.
Go ahead.
Ryan should start off with 52 weeks and times 2 questions, so 104 points for all of the points that could possibly be gotten from standard quiz questions.
Yep, that's a great idea. We're going to give him 104 points.
And if his question setup is ambiguous enough that it could be construed as one way or the other, and those answers are not on the board, then we can steal that point from him.
I feel like we have to make it so that it's not necessarily the person that won the point. Like if everyone votes, it's almost like we all need to vote a point away from Ryan. But then if we vote a point away from Ryan, even if we got it right, we don't get points. Because in that moment, we're saying that there is no right answer, which means technically none of us can get a point either. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Is this how we're going to play it? Well, let's finish out the rest of the year with whoever gets the point can give the point back to take it away from Ryan. But I feel like next year every single host has to agree that Ryan loses a point, but then that means that none of us get a point and none of us get a bonus point either.
Yep.
Right? So like it hurts everyone.
Ryan's
I know.
Ryan's question's about to be 10 pages long and lawyer vetted.
just all of this small text.
As of October 31st, 2025 at 18:35 Coordinated Universal Time.
Clause 17B, whereas trust structure is defined as. Oh, gosh. We aim to have fun, and we're going to end up creating a legal document.
Or the best thing is he can choose to play this however he wants. He can choose to play it completely the other way, where the question is like there's no possible way he's not losing points, and he just flusters all of us. But then we start to fight amongst ourselves. Like he can play mind games with us here.
Points offer not valid in Washington, D.C. or Virginia.
Or he knows that I like to create chaos, and if we all have to vote for it, I might be like, that made sense, especially if he's like, what's the best space shuttle? Is it Atlantis? I'd be like, yep, that's true. I'm just saying, he can play us against ourselves. This might be fun. Oh, no. It's not, no, his eyes aren't rolling. He's scheming is what he's doing. He's trying to figure out. Yeah. Oh my God. All right. Is that our show?
We love you, Ryan. Thank you for putting up with us.
That is the very British face of calculating revenge.
Yeah, he's 100% scheming. He's trying to figure out, because we could add all the rules we want. He's going to find a way to mess with us. That's what he does. It's going to be great. And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. All right. Is that the show?
I think so. Unless there was anything else that anyone wanted to bring up or talk about this week.
I just had a brilliant idea though, because in order to try and curb cheating when multiple people get a correct answer and there are bonus points available, what if all the people who got the question wrong get to vote for the person who can compete for the bonus points?
Ooh.
Maybe. Yeah, sounds like we're going to need a studio. Because how are we going to prevent cheating unless we can see our hands, right?
Yeah, I love that smile on Ryan is a little scary. Yeah, no, right. Yeah, no. I'm telling you guys right now, the more rules we add and the deeper we make this, the more he's going to mess with us and to find a way to work inside of the rules we create to completely and totally mess with us and be like, I don't know, you guys made the rules. Oh yeah, 100% this is happening to us.
Oh, man. And I thought these questions were already expert mode. Sheesh.
I've got another quick 3 minutes if you guys will oblige. I believe it was the last week's show where we were very critical of the interim NASA administrator's idea of integrating NASA into the Department of Transportation. I saw a story this week that makes me have to give him just the tiniest little bit of credit, where he defended the fact that we landed on the moon against Kim Kardashian's claims that it based on a misunderstanding of an interview with Buzz Aldrin, wherein he says it didn't happen. She takes that to be talking about the moon landing didn't happen as opposed to a scary event that didn't happen. And I'd have to do a little bit of research to figure out to recall exactly which event it was that he was talking about. But I do remember hearing words that were similar to that from him during interviews or about something specific. But she's taking it to mean the moon landings. And Sean Duffy said, no, we landed and we checked. You're not right. So got to give him a little bit of credit for sticking up for space and truth and reality.
Also, I believe part of why he wants to merge it, well, I don't know any of this to be true, but doesn't it get him like a bigger seat at the table, like with regards to funding and like fighting for things?
It puts NASA directly in the presidential cabinet, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's necessarily bad, but I'm not sure that's necessarily good either. Because now you're truly...
I don't think you're ever... If you do that, you're never going to get funding, never going to get appropriate funding for anything.
Is it a funding issue or is it everything swings every potential 4 years, right?
Both.
Wild swings.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. It already swings every 4 years.
I think Sean just wants to be in the room where it happens. The room where it happens.
Careful.
The room where it happens.
Careful. Copyright. Careful.
Watch out, guys. Space Church is about to turn into the musical version. But we have to come up with our own songs because copyright. We can filk. We can change lyrics. That's no problem.
Gone.
Yeah, that's allowed.
All right. Let's close this thing out. I want to thank everyone so much for watching, and especially thank all of the members of Tomorrow who helped to make this show happen week after week, month after month, year after year. We've been going since 2008, I realized. That's a really long time, and we've been able to go that long because of all of you. So thank you so much. There are certain different membership levels. If you go to youtube.com/TMRO/join, where you can help contribute to the show at any level that makes sense to you, starting at $1 per month, all the way up to crazy, insane, whatever fits your budget, whatever fits your needs. Thank you to everyone whose name was on the screen who helped this show make this show happen. And of course, everyone whose name's on the screen, including those who weren't on the screen at our systems support level, for our November 2nd show, you can join our After Dark, your long-standing joke for when I screwed that up back in the day. Join our After Dark show coming up next. So thank you all so much for joining us this week. I hope you had a fun time. I know I did. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.